Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Wednesday, March 17th. Looking at precipitation the past 7 days, you can see most of it confined to the southern parts of our region, which is a welcome break from the dryness they've had for so many months. You can see above normal precipitation all across eastern southern Utah through the Arizona Strip into much of eastern and southern Nevada. Ironically, the drier than normal signal is in our northern regions across Idaho and the far northern Nevada. If we look at some of our fuel conditions we can see that there has been some beneficial moistening of the 100-hour fuels in our southern areas, and conversely, some rapid drying down into the single digits in northern Nevada, northeast Nevada, I should say, and into northwest Utah, into southern Idaho. The heavy 1,000-hour fuels, again, driest in eastern Nevada, western Utah, into the Arizona Strip. Again, those southern areas did get some moisture, but still takes a while to soak into the heavier fuels. Much wetter, heavier fuels across parts of central and northern, northwestern Nevada and into western Idaho and much of western Wyoming. We are still in the midst of a extreme to exceptional drought situation across the southern half of the geographic area. Exceptional drought. Again, this is something we don't see quite often, usually just once every several years, maybe twice a decade. And when it appears, this exceptional drought, that is typically during the late summer and early fall months. It is very disturbing to see this drought developing during the wet time of our winter season. Our snowpack, despite some recent snowfall, overall diminished, still about maybe 30 to 35% below normal across most of the higher terrain of Utah and across the Sierra Front, and even across parts of the southeastern higher terrain of Idaho, and elsewhere just barely normal or slightly below normal snowpack. So it's something we'll be watching, especially across our southern areas in the heavier fuels and in that drought situation. For the possibility of an earlier start to our fire season, please reference our seasonal outlook on our homepage for further information. Satellite imagery shows weak ridge of high pressure building in. It should provide clear skies for much of the Great Basin, a warming trend as well. A deeper storm system across the Gulf of Alaska dropping on down, and will probably clip Northern California and maybe parts of the northern Great Basin, but models are forecasting that storm to not really come together as strongly as it was possibly indicated a few days ago. So looking for this afternoon, there's a storm system, the deep low over the Gulf of Alaska, trying to pull up some subtropical moisture from the south, but right now we're in a ridge of high pressure kind of building in, dryness coming through. Overall ventilation or dispersion, pretty good. Excellent where you see the white, and decent where you see the yellow. Poorest in the red and purple shades. You can see that we have very little transport wind flow across Utah, but picking up maybe 10 to 20 miles per hour across parts of Nevada. The mixing heights, this time of year, we usually get them pretty good because of the longer days, several thousand feet above ground level. We see the yellow and orange. You can see where we do still have some poorer dispersion further up north. Now on Thursday, high pressure breaks down across the Great Basin as this low pressure area of the Pacific starts moving closer. Here's some moisture. This will start increasing southwest winds. You can see excellent overall dispersion in the white. The transport winds increasing maybe 15 to 25, maybe gusts of 30 across Nevada, and starting to get into the western half of Utah as well, and much of Idaho. Excellent overall vertical dispersion. And then Friday, there's a storm system and it's moisture mostly across Nevada now and into parts of Idaho. Excellent dispersion as you would expect with the trough. Good transport winds everywhere, and actually maybe a little too strong. These purple shades indicating gusts of over 40 miles per hour, or I should say transport flow 40 miles per hour, could mix down as gusts to the surface. Again, good vertical mixing. Precipitation over the next 3 days with that front in the green here, especially the second and third shades, a tenth to a quarter inch, nothing overly heavy. Snow levels should be around 6,000 to 7,000 feet. Heavier stuff across the Sierra front, but very quickly drying out as you head into Nevada. On Saturday, the storm system kind of falls apart. There's still some clouds and moisture here in the green across parts of Idaho and western Wyoming and into eastern Utah. But you can see, even though there's a trough through here, there is drier air punching into California and eventually into Nevada. Good overall mixing. We start seeing more of a northwest to northerly transport flow on Saturday. On Sunday, there's a trough of low pressure. Again, most of the moisture in southeastern Utah, otherwise partly cloudy. There is a deeper batch of moisture with a broad trough just off the Pacific Northwest. You can see the wind flow, transport winds more of the northeast across parts of the area, becoming southwesterly again ahead of that trough in northwest Nevada. And on Monday, models now showing this moisture deepening a little bit across the Great Basin. So we could see another shot of light to locally moderate precipitation, especially across northern Nevada, Utah, and into parts of Idaho. You can see the excellent transport flow. Again, lots of areas in white. This is the time of year we get good ventilation. And this low at this point is forecast to close off over central Utah by Tuesday and pushing some decent precipitation into Idaho and western Wyoming. Scattered stuff further south. We'll see how this develops. Some models have been changing quite a bit with the scenario of this low northerly wind flow throughout and the transport flow, and precipitation accumulation, again, light to moderate amounts only where you see the areas in green, otherwise dry. The longer range 8 to 14 day outlook takes us from March 24th to the 30th, so basically for the rest of the month, does show an above normal temperature signal across the Great Basin, especially the further west you go, and a much drier than normal signal. So again, 4-hour drought and our lower snowpack, no relief in sight as we start closing out the wet season, and that's a little disconcerting. We'll see how that all plays out. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.